Quantum consciousness. Quantum consciousness theory is rooted in the principles of quantum mechanics, the branch of physics that deals with the behavior of subatomic particles. According to this theory, consciousness arises from quantum processes within the brain's microtubules, tiny structures within neurons that play a role in cellular functions. In quantum mechanics, information is never lost but rather transformed. When a person ends, the quantum information that constitutes their consciousness could, theoretically, be preserved and integrated into the larger universe. This aligns with the conservation of information principle in quantum mechanics, suggesting that the essence of an individual could continue to exist in some form after ending. One of the most prominent proponents of quantum consciousness is physicist Roger Penrose, who, along with anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff, developed the ORCH, Orchestrated Objective Reduction theory. Penrose and Hameroff argue that these microtubules can maintain quantum coherence, allowing quantum information to be processed within the brain. This quantum information, they suggest, could be fundamental to consciousness. Simulation theory. Simulation theory posits that technologically advanced civilizations could create simulations so sophisticated that the simulated beings within them would be conscious and self-aware, much like us. If we accept the premise that we are living in a simulation, it follows that our understanding of life and end would fundamentally change. One possibility is that the end in the simulation does not equate to true cessation, but rather a reconfiguration or continuation of consciousness within the same simulated environment. The operators of the simulation might have protocols to preserve or transfer the consciousness of individuals, akin to saving and reloading a game. In this view, ending could be a mere transition phase, where the consciousness is reborn or re-uploaded into a different part of the simulation or a different simulated scenario. Another belief is that the end could serve as an exit from the simulated reality, allowing consciousness to transition to the base reality or a higher level simulation. This concept aligns with the idea of an ultimate reality where the simulators reside. In this higher reality, the rules and experiences might be vastly different from what we know. A more deterministic interpretation is that the end could mean the permanent termination of a particular consciousness instance within the simulation. In this scenario, the end of the physical body corresponds to the cessation of the digital consciousness, similar to closing a computer program. Lastly, similar to reincarnation beliefs in various religious traditions, some simulation theory proponents suggest that after the end, consciousness could be reinserted into the simulation, either retaining some memory or knowledge from past experiences, or starting anew without any recollection of previous simulated lives. Biocentrism. In recent years, a novel theory known as biocentrism has emerged. Developed by Robert Lanza, a prominent scientist in the fields of biology and regenerative medicine, biocentrism posits that life and consciousness are fundamental to the universe. Biocentrism, or the theory of everything, asserts that life and consciousness are not mere byproducts of physical processes, but rather central to the existence and fabric of the universe. Lanza argues that our understanding of the universe is limited by a materialist perspective, which views life as an accidental outcome of physical laws. Instead, biocentrism proposes that the universe cannot exist without life and consciousness. They are deeply intertwined and codependent. According to biocentrism, consciousness exists independently of the physical body. The end of the body does not necessarily mean the end of consciousness. Instead, consciousness may continue in a different form or dimension. Biocentrism also draws on principles from quantum mechanics, like the quantum consciousness theory, such as the observer effect, which indicates that the act of observation affects the physical reality being observed. If consciousness plays a role in shaping reality, then the afterlife could be seen as a continuation of this process in a different state. The biocentric model is compatible with the idea of a multiverse, where multiple universes or dimensions coexist. Consciousness, being fundamental and not tied to one physical reality, might transition to parallel realities upon reaching the end. The multiverse is not only a concept in biocentrism, but also central in our next theory. Multiverse theory. In modern times, scientific advancements have introduced new frameworks for considering life after the end. One of the most interesting among these is the multiverse theory, which posits the existence of multiple, perhaps infinite, parallel universes. If parallel universes exist, then ending in one universe might not mean the end of consciousness, but rather a transition to another universe. One popular interpretation of the afterlife in this theory is that consciousness could shift from one universe to another upon ending. If the self or soul is not bound to a single universe, it might continue its existence in a parallel reality. This perspective suggests a form of immortality where consciousness experiences different universes seamlessly in succession. This implies that you would end in one universe, and everyone you know in that universe will know you as ended, but you yourself would continue to live in a different universe where you did not end at all, and therefore have no recollection of your own end happening. A different interpretation is the many worlds interpretation. According to the many worlds interpretation, there are countless versions of an individual existing simultaneously across different universes at the same time. In this view, ending in one universe might mean that an individual's consciousness continues in another universe where they did not end. This idea implies that every possible version of an individual's life is played out somewhere in the multiverse at the very same time. Information theory. Information theory, initially developed by Claude Shannon in the mid-20th century, is a mathematical framework for quantifying information, communication, and data transmission. In a broader context, information theory posits that information is not just a tool for understanding communication systems, but is also a fundamental component of the universe itself. One of the most straightforward afterlife interpretations in this theory is that the information constituting an individual's consciousness could be preserved and potentially reanimated in a digital format. Advances in technology, particularly in the fields of artificial intelligence and neural mapping, suggest the possibility of uploading human consciousness to digital substrates. In this view, after ending, one's consciousness could be transferred to a digital environment where it could continue to exist and evolve. Another interpretation borrows from the idea of reincarnation, suggesting that the information constituting a person's consciousness could be reconstituted in a new form. This does not necessarily imply a direct transfer of a soul, but rather the reemergence of similar informational patterns in a different context. The continuity of consciousness would thus be understood as the reappearance of similar informational configurations in new living beings.